Dios les bendiga, les habla Luis Carlos Reyes. Este día estoy aquí con el hermano Matt Slick. God bless you all. I am here today. It's Luis Carlos Reyes, and I'm here with my brother Matt Slick. Matt Slick, ¿cómo estás?
Estoy bien, un poco casado.
He is here. He is. Thank you for spending this time with us,
Sure,
Matt, hanging out
sure.
with us. So yesterday, I guess you had a little. You had something interesting, an interesting conversation with somebody. Ayer, Matt Slick tuvo una conversación muy interesante con una persona that I think, especially our friends, our Oneness Pentecostal friends, might be interested. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Sure. I got word that uh, David K. Bernard was going to be in a city nearby. And I went and I saw him and I talked to him.
Wow, dijo Matt que él recibió información que David K. Bernard, que es uno de los líderes unicitarios más popular, un maestro unicitario, iba a estar en una iglesia cerca de la casa de Matt y Matt fue a visitarlo. Wow, so then what happened?
Well, it was very noisy, the whole thing. I have a lot of film on it, watched them dance, get hyped up. It wasn't Bible was not central. Jesus' name was central. I could make a lot of comments about that, but I went there because I wanted to offer him an opportunity to have a debate with me.
Wow, okay. Dijo Matt que fue a esta iglesia que estaba cerca. Era una iglesia pentecostal unida. It was a Oneness Pentecostal church, correct?
United Pentecostal.
Ok, y fue para allá. Y pues que había mucho ruido, mucha música. And that's usually how Oneness Pentecostal churches are, the Pentecostal churches. But he went there fue ahí por un propósito. Y el propósito era para hablar con David Bernard,
Right.
porque Matt Slick quería preguntarle que si quería tener un debate con él. So you asked him if he wanted a debate?
hmm And he said he was not interested in a debate because they don't really accomplish really much of anything. Okay.
Pues dijo que a David Bernard le dijo a él que no estaba interesado en un debate porque, según David Bernard, los debates no llegan a un cumplimiento para lograr algo. And then what happened?
So I said, well, maybe we could have a discussion or something like that, just something to do. He's said he would entertain the idea, and that's what the last part of that was. But there's other stuff in between. I'll tell you about.
Y dijo, bueno, pues, ¿qué tal si nomás tenemos una discusión? Si podemos platicar para hablar de algunas cosas importantes que tienen que ver, pues, con teología y creencias. Y que hablaron de más cositas ahí, pero después vamos a ver qué más pasó. Then what else happened after that?
So we had a discussion, and trying to remember the proper order because I don't want to misrepresent him at all.
Dice, pues tuvimos una discusión. No me recuerdo exactamente la orden porque no lo quiero mal representar, pero déjame ver si me recuerdo de qué platicamos. ¿Ok?
And he said he didn't really like doing debates unless someone accused them of lying. I didn't quite understand that.
Dijo
Um,
que a no le gusta tener debates, pero que al menos que alguien lo esté acusando de mintiendo, pero que no entendió muy bien a qué se refería Bernard con eso.
and that he was more concerned with preaching the gospel. Okay.
Que él estaba más interesado a predicar el evangelio.
Well, I was there for his entire sermon, and he did not preach the gospel during the sermon.
Dice, bueno, yo estaba ahí para todo el sermón entero y ninguna vez predicó el evangelio. Not once.
Not once.
Ni una
And
sola vez.
that's possible I missed it because it was long and it was hot, and maybe I zoned out for 30 seconds, but I didn't hear it.
Es posible que se me escapó y no lo escuché porque estaba largo el sermón y estaba caliente y como que posiblemente me dormí unos segundos y no lo capté, pero según como yo sé, no predicó el evangelio. Ok.
And so I'm trying to always want to get the right order, but so I told him I didn't think that his theology was Christian. Okay.
Le dije al señor David Bernard que yo no pensaba que su teología era cristiana.
And I said it very politely. I didn't say it mean at all.
Y
Okay.
lo dije con mucho respeto, no lo dije en un sentido como que quiere pelear o algo así, lo dijo con mucho respeto.
And he said, on what basis do I say that?
Y
Okay.
Bernard le dijo a él, ¿y en qué basas eso?
And I said, I believe you teach a false God, a false incarnation, and a false gospel.
Y Matt Slick le respondió a David Bernard, le dijo, yo creo que tú enseñas a un Dios falso, un evangelio falso y una encarnación falsa. False incarnation. Okay.
Yep. And I said it carefully. I didn't say it with anger. I was saying it just as this is my position. That's all. I was respectful the whole time.
Lo dije muy cuidadoso, lo dije con mucho respeto, con mucho cuidado lo que estaba diciendo, pero demostrando respeto a todo tiempo.
And for the most part, he was pretty respectful too, until we got to that point.
Y por la mayoría, el señor Bernard tenía mucho respeto también, hasta que llegamos a un punto.
And he said, no, we serve the true God.
Y dijo él, no, nosotros servimos a un Dios verdadero.
And I didn't jump on that. Okay.
Y yo no dije nada, lo dejé que siguiera platicando.
And we got on to the topic of baptism.
Y después entramos al tema del bautismo.
And he said that he said baptism is necessary for salvation.
Y él dijo que el bautismo es necesario para la salvación.
And he said there's one Lord, one faith, one baptism.
Y también dijo, hay un Señor, un bautismo y una fe.
I said, yeah, that's Ephesians 4:5.
Y
Okay.
yo le dije, sí, eso es Efesios 4:5.
And I'm familiar with Acts 2:38, Acts 22:16, 1 Peter 3:21.
Conozco muy bien Hechos 2:38, Hechos Acts 16, what? 16,
22:16,
22:16
Acts 2:38,
y Hechos 2:38,
1 Peter 3:21.
primero de Pedro 3:21.
I said I could talk about all of those. And I said, I wanted to see what he would do. And I said, well, I believe that Jesus was sprinkled at his baptism.
Yo quería saber qué es lo que iba a decir, por eso yo le dije a David Bernard, bueno, yo creo que Dios fue rociado en el bautismo. What happened? What did he say?
He said, no, they went into the water like that.
Dijo David, no, se sumergieron abajo del agua, adentro del agua.
And I said, in Acts chapter 8, the Ethiopian eunuch and Philip came up out of the water. They both weren't immersed.
Hechos 2, Acts 8:38, Hechos 8:38, Felipe y Eunuco salieron del agua, pero and you say they came out of the water, but they were not immersed?
It says they both came out of the water. They both went into the water and came out of the water, but going into the water doesn't mean that they were both immersed.
Dice que los dos entraron al agua y salieron al agua, pero eso no quiere decir que los dos entraron y se metieron abajo del agua, solamente que entraron y salieron.
Yeah. So he immediately stopped talking about that. Okay.
Y luego dice que inmediatamente paró de hablar de eso.
And then I saw an opportunity and I asked him a question. I said, are we justified by faith?
Y luego miró una oportunidad y le hice una pregunta a David Bernard. Le pregunté yo, ¿somos justificados por la fe?
And he said, yes.
Y él dijo, sí.
And I said, then are we justified by faith when we have faith?
Y luego yo le pregunté, bueno, entonces, ¿somos justificados por la fe cuando tenemos fe?
And he said, he was confused. He was
Dijo
confused.
Bernard se miraba confundido.
And he said, well, what do you mean?
Y Bernard le dice, bueno, ¿a qué te refieres?
So I repeated it. I said, you said that we're justified by faith.
Entonces lo repetí. Le dice, señor Bernard, usted dijo que somos justificados por la fe.
So if we're justified by faith, I want to know if we're justified when we have faith.
Y por lo tanto, como tú dices que somos justificados por la fe, yo quiero saber si somos justificados cuando tenemos fe. We want to know if we are justified when we have faith.
Right.
Okay.
And I said, but you say we have to be baptized in order to be justified.
Pero tú dices que tenemos que ser bautizados para ser justificados.
That's not justification by faith, is it?
Eso no es justificado por fe, ¿verdad?
Because if it is, we're justified by faith when we have faith.
Porque si es, entonces somos justificados por fe cuando tenemos fe. So what do you say to that?
Nothing. He couldn't handle it. He changed the topic.
Dijo, no podía David Bernard contestar eso. Cambió el tema. Wow.
Yeah. And then he said, well, what you teach, I forgot exactly how it went, but he got on to, you can't lose your salvation. Okay.
No sabe exactamente cómo saltó Bernard, pero después dijo que, he said, you can lose your salvation?
Yeah, he said you can.
Ajá.
So, trying to remember every detail. I'm trying to, how
Sí,
it went.
quiero recordar todos los detalles, está difícil, pero dijo que se puede perder la salvación. That's what he said.
And so he then started attacking election and
Y
predestination.
después, Bernard se fue directamente a atacar la elección, el tema de la predestinación. So what happened to the faith when you're justified by faith and just
Gone.
like that?
He didn't want to talk about it.
Dice que ya no quería platicar del asunto de la fe. That's important because
Yes.
he admitted that you're justified by faith. Él admitió que estás justificado por la fe. But then you asked him, are you justified by faith when you have faith? Después tú le preguntaste, ¿eres justificado por la fe cuando tienes fe? Yeah. So then what was the last question? So when do you have faith? At what moment?
He couldn't answer it. He just abandoned it. Don't go there. Just like he abandoned the talk on baptism. When he found out that I know stuff, and I'm not trying to brag, but when he found out I know how to answer, he quit this.
Yeah, dice que cuando David Bernard se dio cuenta que Matt Slick podía contestar todas esas preguntas, inmediatamente saltó de un tema a otro tema y a otro tema. That's very common with Oneness Pentecostals. I see that a lot in the Spanish-speaking world. Veo eso mucho en el mundo pentecostal. Los unitarios, el mundo habla español, siempre saltan de temas a temas a temas. Wow. So, I mean, he would have a problem with that because if he had faith before he was baptized, then he was justified by faith before the actual baptism. So then the baptism is not what justifies him, correct?
Right.
Wow, that's problematic.
It's a problem. And then now he didn't say it, but I could tell you how others respond to it and how to answer that. That's another topic.
Yeah.
I know you got to go soon.
We'll talk about that next time because that's a whole different topic. Después
Right.
hablamos de eso porque el punto aquí es que David Bernard había dicho que son justificados por la fe. Matt Slick le preguntó, ¿eres justificado por la fe en el momento que tienes fe? And he said yes, right? Or he didn't answer that.
Yeah, he couldn't answer the question.
No podía contestar a David Bernard que son justificados en el momento que tienen la fe. Why? Because if he says that he's justified at the moment he has faith, then he's no longer justified when he's baptized. Right?
Then baptism's not needed.
Yeah,
Salvation.
eso quiere decir, la razón que David Bernard no quería contestar la pregunta es porque si él admite que es justificado en el momento que tiene fe, entonces en ese momento que tiene fe antes del bautismo indica que no se necesita el bautismo para ser justificado. That means you will not need the baptism to be justified.
La verdad, sí. Yep.
Wow. So what? Tell me more about this interesting conversation. What else happened? ¿Qué más pasó en esta conversación?
Well, he started, like I said, we got into the issue of can you lose your salvation? And he attacked, I was surprised. He attacked the idea of God's election and predestination. And he said, then why have a debate if God's chosen who's to be saved?
Yeah, y luego dice que David Bernard estaba atacando la idea de la predestinación. Entonces David Bernard dice, entonces, ¿para qué tener un debate si Dios sabe quién está salvo? But that's a whole different subject there. That's a whole different issue.
Exactly.
Entirely, pero it's interesting how you're saying he went to attack mode.
Yeah, he did.
Es interesante cómo se fue Bernard cambió a su modo de ataque en vez de defender lo que estaba diciendo, the issue on the baptism and faith. He didn't, justification by faith, justificación por la fe. He didn't want to touch that. No quería tocar eso.
No. Oh, no, I would love to be able to do that some more. In fact, here, let me share the screen really fast.
Okay, ¿nos va a compartir la pantalla Matt Slick ahorita?
¿Puedes verlo?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
That's him. Ahí está Matt Slick y ahí está David Bernard.
That's right.
This was yesterday.
It was last night. Yep.
Esto era ayer, el día 22 de julio del año 2022, July 22nd, 2022.
That's right. And wow. I can show you, in fact, just because I got this shared, let me do this one thing really fast, show you a little bit of something, and then we can end. I know you got to go. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. It should come up. And let's see.
They have a balcony there, it seems, huh?
It goes
Wow.
on and on and on like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I'm really glad you shared that video there just to show that you were there
I was
and
there.
photograph with David Bernard, because a lot of Oneness Pentecostals, especially in the Spanish speaking world, they probably won't believe that you spoke to him.
I did.
Yeah.
In fact, like there's the picture, and I asked him, and he was nice, except that one little area got a little defensive. But and he was nice. He was a gentleman, and in fact, when in fact, up at the front of the church is where I first met him. But because I have autism and problems with sound, he was very polite. We moved outside the sanctuary.
Okay.
So I
Wow.
mean, he was a nice guy. Yeah.
Dice que era caballero David Bernard, que porque Matt tiene autismo y a veces los ruidos y mucho sonido lo afectan. Y David Bernard, lo sacó para afuera para que no estuviera escuchando ese ruidazo. So that was nice of him, you know?
Yeah, it was. It was nice, and they were all nice. They were all very nice. So I have nothing to negative to say about any of them. They were nice. They were nice people.
Lo trataron muy bien a Matt, que todos eran muy caballeros, muy amables, and that's good. You know, but the problem is, Matt, you know, you could be as the nicest person in the world, but if you're teaching false doctrine, whether knowingly or not, I mean, it's still demonic, and people are being misled. Right?
True. La verdad, sí, la verdad.
Le digo a Matt que aunque sean caballeros o no, si están enseñando doctrina falsa y hay un espíritu engañoso ahí, está dando a otro Jesús, es algo muy peligroso. Aunque lo hagan conscientes o no, es algo muy peligroso.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was the end result of this conversation? ¿Qué era el resultado final de esa conversación?
So I said, okay, what happened was about that time, people were gathering around hearing us talk, and they wanted it to end.
Se estaban acercando más personas like brothers or deacons or something.
Just people, yeah.
Personas se estaban acercando ahí haciéndose como una bola. And why were they doing that?
Well, they could see that he was getting a little upset with me, just a touch, you know.
Oh, porque miraban que David Bernard se miraba como que estaba poquito como incómodo o poquito enojando. And then what happened?
Yeah, and then they wanted me to kind of go, and they weren't rude. I want to make sure everybody knows I don't consider them rude. They were polite, but they wanted me to move along.
Okay, y dice que lo trataron muy bien, pero era obvio ya que ya no querían que Matt estuviera ahí, que querían que básicamente se fuera.
And so I said, well, before I go, can I have your email address? I can contact you and let's see if we can set something up. And he gave it to me.
Oh, all right. Dice, antes de que me vaya, le dijo a David Bernard, ¿me puedes dar tu correo electrónico y te puedo contactar y después posiblemente podemos tener una discusión? Y sí me dio su email, David Bernard, el maestro de la Iglesia Pentecostal Unida. He's like a teacher of teachers in Oneness Pentecostal theology.
Yeah.
Es un maestro
Yeah, and then I said, hey, do you know Luis Carlos Reyes? And then they started throwing chairs at me, and then they picked up and, they said, oh, get out. No. So, un chiste.
Oh, man, I would believe that. Dice, tú conoces a Luis Carlos Reyes y luego me aventaron sillas y me sacaron de la iglesia. Oh, no.
And so anyway, then I left. They were nice, and I left, and that was it. Came home.
Y luego me salí y pues eran muy amables conmigo y pues terminó.
But you know what? I was calling you on the phone when I almost got, I had to swerve on the freeway because something. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Matt me
right.
estaba llamando cuando estaba en la iglesia, me estaba mandando textos. Yo estaba trabajando y dije, wow, ¿en serio? Pero Matt iba manejando en la carretera y dice ya de venida que ya le pegaba algo en la carretera.
But what was interesting is on the way to the church, I almost got in an accident. Someone almost drove into me.
Oh, wow. Dice también, cuando iba a esa iglesia, ya se metía en un accidente twice.
Yeah, going and coming.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the false doctrine.
Wow. Dice que no, así que casi le pasaban 2 accidentes de ida y de venida. Maybe somebody didn't want you to go. But hey, you know what? It's not your first time you go into the Lion's Den. You do this a lot. I remember when we were out there in Colombia. Remember those monks? What? I think they were monks. I'm not sure.
You get out of the car, and the first thing I just go right over, and you're like,
yeah. The door opens. Matt, we're at a red light, and Matt just jumps out. I'm like, whoa! I'm jumping out too. I don't know why, but we're jumping out.
Yeah, I got problems.
Sí, Matt, es no la primera vez que se mete a iglesia. Sí, estábamos yo y Matt en Colombia y una vez estábamos en una luz roja en un taxi Y de repente salió Matt corriendo del carro, pues yo también me bajé corriendo, no sé qué miró, pero miré que Matt miró a dos monjes, Buddhist monks, I think. And, they had a nice hairdo like mine, estaban pelones like me, but they're wearing these robes. And then Matt started talking to them. Y estaba hablando con ellos, Matt, talking about Jesus. That was awesome. Yeah, así es, Matt. Yeah. So, wow, let's see what happens with this. Let's see if, keep us informed and see what happens if you make contact with them again. If you start a discussion, that would be great. Le digo a Matt que nos dé, que nos quede, que nos informe qué pasa si habla con David Bernard otra vez, si tiene una discusión. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I said, I know you live in Austin. I looked up information, and I said, I'll fly to Austin. Okay.
Wow. Dijo Matt, yo sé que tú vives en Austin. Austin está acá en Estados Unidos, en Texas. Yo estoy dispuesto a volar para allá para platicar contigo sobre una discusión teológica. Wow, maybe you guys can continue the justification by faith issue.
Yeah, well, it's a major problem. In fact, this is a side note, but I've been studying a lot with Eastern Orthodoxy, Roman Catholicism, other stuff, and I'm starting to come to the understanding of the specific issue of justification. It's very important. I mean, it's already important, but it's really an issue to study.
Wow, okay. Dice que Matt está estudiando mucho este asunto, la iglesia ortodoxa, la iglesia católica, y está descubriendo nuevas cosas. You're learning new things and new concepts that are very important that have to do with justification, que está aprendiendo cosas nuevas que tienen que ver con justificación. Maybe you could share those things with us someday.
Oh, yeah, si quieres, puedo hacerlo.
All right, man. Well, thank you for, let's see what kind of, hopefully you guys can continue a discussion. That would be awesome. And maybe we could talk again in the near future. I'm going to have some days off. I've just been really, really busy. But
I want you to come up here because I can't leave because of my wife's health. I want you to come up here for a month and we talk nothing but Spanish. You teach me Spanish.
Dice que vaya para allá por un mes para enseñar español. Él está aprendiendo mucho español, man. So yeah, man, I wish. Let's see what the Lord does, man. And I'm just really excited. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for sharing this experience. And let's see what happens. You want to say a goodbye in Spanish to the people?
Goodbye. Adiós. Vaya con Dios.
Que vaya con Dios. All right, Matt. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Let's see. Let me know what happens. Okay, brother? I really appreciate your time.
All right, brother. God bless.
God bless you too. We'll talk again.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.